This is the PL-89 Gematria Quantum Thought Calendar for Sunday, December 28th, 2025. And it was, because it's night right now, but today it was Yom Rishon, the 8th day of Tevet, 5786. The parsha of the week is Vayechi, and the Daf Yomi for today is Zevachim 105. And this calendar had different purposes throughout different years. But at the end of all these years, 13 plus years, I was able to take all the uses and see what they have in common and put them all together. But one of the uses had to do with the planet Mercury. They call it the mysterious planet Mercury because although it's not the furthest planet away from us, it's very close to us. It's to Earth, that is, but yet it's the least explored or the least discovered planet from the various educational videos that are out there. And different encyclopedias or whatever. There were some missions to it. There was the Mariner, I think in 74, and then Messenger, also in 2011. But there's other planets that were much more explored. The reason why I mentioned Mercury in regards to this calendar is that this calendar marks a certain period of time that is mentioned in the Bible a few different places. That is 3 months. 3 months, or you could say 90 days, or you could say just a season of the year. There's 4 seasons of the year, and this would correspond to one season, which planet Mercury is a whole year. One season of a year for us is a whole year for Mercury because from the data that we do have, and what is published, is that Mercury orbits the Sun in 88 of our Earth days. And so this calendar became equated with this planet Mercury. And I would call it the Mercury Thought Calendar. It's based on a complete orbit of Mercury. After Mercury orbits once, in fact, at one point in my calendar work, the way I would chronicle it, the way I would notate it, is that today is the first day of Mercury's orbit around the Sun. Today is the second day, and then etc. Third day, fourth day, fifth day of Mercury's orbit around the Sun. And finally, when I would get to 88, I would say, I would finish it off and we start a new year. And then it would be like it came back to the same place it was, wherever we started. But I would like to know, because of this study of Mercury, this is a big issue that anytime someone tries to talk about flat Earth, how do they take into consideration the planet Mercury? Do they think that the Mercury orbits around the Sun, or it doesn't, or do they think it exists at all? If it doesn't, then what is all this published data about Mercury? Is it all fake? That's the big question I had when it came to flat Earth. If the Earth is flat and the Sun and the Moon just pass over the Earth and everything revolves around the Earth, it's an interesting idea, but what do you do with Mercury? What do you do with it? Does it even exist? Some say that it doesn't exist. So then that means that this calendar is what? Is based on it could be based on the fantasy. It's based on me imagining Mercury orbiting the Sun, but it really doesn't orbit the Sun. Do you see where my conundrum was? So does it or doesn't it? How could you know? And so here's what I came up with. That because there were some people that were making some strong arguments for flat Earth, at least from my layman's point of view. Some people were talking about some type of flat Earth, and there's a lot of people that are really arguing for it. But I mean, when you're a good artist, if you know to argue really well. Standing from where I'm standing, I don't have the data. I don't have myself the knowledge to actually argue against it. I just hear their argument and say, okay, it's interesting. But one of the main reasons why I like to, at least in my own mind, keep a round Earth model, even if round Earth is fake, let's say round Earth is not real, but I like to keep it in my mind anyway because it keeps me sane. Because if the Earth were flat, and I still imagined that Mercury was revolving around the sun, but I've did some research into this. There are people that really scientifically thought that the Earth is much closer to the Earth. I mean, the sun is so much closer to the Earth, and the moon, they're only about 3,000 miles away, and the Earth doesn't revolve around the sun. Rather, the sun passes. It kind of revolves. Kind of travels across the Earth, it comes around. I think it revolves around the Earth, and maybe they would say there's no planets. Maybe so. I would love to hear from a flat earther. What do you hold? What's your opinion on Mercury? Does it exist? And if it exists, is it also flat, or does it also revolve around Does it revolve around the sun? And if it does, okay, what are all these satellites now? Not all of them. It's like a dual satellite. It's Mio is the Japanese one, and Bepi I think is the other one. And the joint mission is called Bepi Colombo, and it's a joint effort between the Japanese Space Agency and the European Space Agency, not NASA. So I know people have a beef with NASA and they think NASA is just like a scam or something. I mean, I can't say it's not, but I mean, this is not from NASA. So they would say that those guys are scams too? I mean, to what point do you go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole? To what point do you keep saying that nothing is real anymore? If you keep breaking it down, then nothing is real, everything's fake, and everything's AI, and I mean, so, and I've kind of had my bout with that as well. So right now, as it stands, and this is what I did, in this existential turmoil, this conundrum, this real angst. I mean, I was very, and back in 2020, when this is actually interesting, when COVID came out, when Corona came out, a lot of things came crashing down, including some people that I respected actually mentioned flat Earth, and that really threw my thing because if this person is saying this other thing about flat Earth, but they're saying another thing that doesn't have to do with that, but that's a big thing now. I mean, I'm not talking about flat Earth. I'm talking about a different topic. But if I'm going to hold what this person is saying about that thing, then the same person, is talking now about flat Earth. So that's troubling. It's troubling to me. So I tried to entertain the flat Earth view, but so you know what? I kind of keep an open mind and say, it could be either way. I kind of keep a Schrodinger's cat kind of view. It's like it could be either or, and it won't change what it is. It won't make the cat alive or dead, if you know the thing. But you can just look up Schrodinger's cat, and it's a thought experiment. But anyway, my point is that it doesn't make a difference if Mercury exists or it doesn't, because we're dealing with numbers and we're dealing with time, and that certainly is a metric that we can observe here on Earth, and we can say that we know what a day is, and we know of a certain amount of days, and I can tell you what month it is when a certain amount of days pass, and that's what it's based on. And whatever's out there in this cosmology that I would love to have some sort of verified way of, verifying that is true. But for now, these things you can verify. I can tell you when it started. I can tell you when it will finish. And even then, there's a certain amount of faith, because if I would tell you that this project, this 14-year journey, will end in May of 2026, this is when it will end. Even that is a faith thing, because why am I saying that? Because it came to me in some kind of intuition. Now, when it comes to flat Earth and round Earth, I don't have much of an intuition about it. I can just say what the arguments are for it. I can talk about satellites. I can talk about airplanes, or the curvature when the ship goes down when you're looking at it. All those kinds of arguments, either way. But at the end of the day, they're just arguments. They're just talking points, and I can't tell you 100% for sure. So keep an open mind. Stay humble. I'm saying to myself, keep it on, stay humble. Maybe I might learn something. But anyway, but one thing is for sure. That's why I love counting so much. Counting is something that it doesn't fail you. It doesn't disappoint. Counting never disappoints. It always satisfies. Because you can remember it. You can project. I could tell you, if I'm still alive, we're all still alive, in 10 days from now, I'm going to be on box so-and-so. I'm going to be on box whatever, and I can tell you 90 days ago, I was on box here. This happened on box here. I mean, this is like history, like a historian's work. And I would love to collaborate if someone else has another project that can sort of goes together with it. We can see. I would, be open to looking at other things like this. But anyway, not January. It's December 28th, and December 28th is always going to be box number 13 here. It's funny that the second I said that, it was 13 minutes of it recording. Just very interesting things. Okay, it's box number 13 right here. The coordinates would be B8, 13. And when it comes to the 8th day of Tevet, the 8th day of Tevet is box 18 right here. And that will be the same box that any day in this dispensation, which means January 8th will also be here. April 8th will be here. July 8th, here. October 8th, here. So any cardinal month will always be in box 18. So there's different methods. I can do a plus 40, where any box here you add 40 to it, and you just keep going, and it's considered the same number. That's one method. So then I would say 53, 93, 133, like that. Keep adding. Or 18 would be 58, 98, 138, 178, etc. But I haven't found anything with that. So sometimes it doesn't always not so clear, but oftentimes it gives some very interesting results. But I think I spoke enough about it today that I've kind of shared enough about it. I wanted to get into the Julian calendar. The Julian calendar is 13 days behind our calendar. Okay. Just remember right now that 13 days ago was December 15th, meaning 28 minus 13 is 15. It's a minus 13. That means that on December 15th, we were on box 22 here, 13 days ago. Because, yeah. If you're doing the Gregorian calendar, but on the Hebrew calendar, it would be on box 27. But that was Hanukkah time. The first day of Hanukkah was 13 days ago. So you could say today is like the first day of Hanukkah. But it's obviously not the first day of Hanukkah. And what does today have to do with the first day of Hanukkah? How does it feel like that? Well, the connection is that today is the 8th day of Tevet. And we know that Hanukkah is very closely connected with the number 8 because Hanukkah is 8 days. So if today is the 8th day of Tevet, or it was today, and on the Julian calendar it's the first day of Hanukkah, then there's a thematic connection there. And that's one of the ways, when you see this method, it's one of the ways of showing today's day numerically how it's connected. Something numerical is connected with the time. On the 1 day or 2 days, both days, and other calendars.